Let's talk it out.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi, Miguel. So this is the second episode of the No Name Show. We haven't still figured out the name. We have some good ideas, but we don't want to spill it out yet. This is the second episode. The first episode, as you might have checked it out on YouTube, it was with Dr. Hamed Tabkhi. He, as I introduced before, he is a professor of AI, and he's our CTO at Hummingbirds AI. And now we have Miguel Garcia.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Nima.
Hi, Miguel. So just a quick reminder of what's the format of the show. I'm gonna, this is like a very natural show. We haven't prepared anything. The questions we don't know. It's just a conversation between two friends. And I personally had some very good conversations before with Miguel, and I saw it's a good opportunity that everyone can learn about wisdom of Miguel. So Miguel, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Miguel Felipe Garcia. I'm from Colombia. You have to visit this country. It's amazing. And I'm an industrial designer who design toys and reality.
You design toys and reality.
Yeah.
What is reality?
Reality, well, reality is a complex thing. But I guess the way that the designers look at the reality is like you can name and you can create the things by the name, right? By creation the name or the concepts of the reality, and then those concepts comes into a maybe material things, objects, products, or also services. So we are every time creating things that are conforming the reality, right?
Creating so a website, designing a website, would you consider that a reality?
Yeah, if you think the digital world or the digital space is another type of reality, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about reality?
Yeah, so like designing a game, that would be reality. Designing the matrix, that would be creating reality.
Yeah, because it's another world.
How many realities do we have then?
No, that's a really hard question.
Because what I'm seeing here is, so you design reality, you design a matrix, and then you can design a matrix within a matrix.
Yeah, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out, because if you see, the language is one reality, just the language.
Just the language is a reality.
Yeah, sure. Because the Spanish people has one reality, the English people has another reality, and as you saw in the Bible, there's a chapter that talks about this tower that God makes all the languages, one languages transforming different languages, right?
The concept is that we have like multiple realities in one tower. Yeah, somehow the language shapes our view to the world.
Yeah,
and the reality that comes with it.
And that's one level of the reality, the language. Mm-hmm. Another level of the reality is like the concepts that you can create with that language, like sitting, or homes, stories, or even what's a home for you? It's a building, it's a apartment, it's a house, it's your family. What's a home? That concept, just home, is defined but by what you think about that concept.
Right. So by the set of by the way that you look at it, that would be. Yeah, but I was saying poems for language, like, so you have words, how you series that words next to each other, like a poet or a storyteller, that creates new realities. So one of the what do you think about that? Like the series of the word, right? So what makes, let's say I'm throwing a random number of words to you, and all of them are random, right? So I let's say 20 words to you. Miguel can create one story out of those words. I can create another story, and probably there are infinite number of stories. As the number of words goes higher, there are a number of the number will be infinite that people come up with different stories. So so do you think is all of those stories have the same value in terms of the beauty of that story?
Yeah, sure.
Are all of them art?
I have a problem with the word art, because I'm not able to define what's art. I guess is a complex thing that you can see from different ways.
Nice. I like that.
So if you see that poems are art, maybe those are art, right? But coming again to the reality, that's another layer of the reality, right? So one is language that is made from words, but also that poem is language, is still language. And also the concept could be language, could be images, could be a lot of things. But when you transform and you become, when you start to define that concept, you can create something in the physical world, in the 3D world, or you can create something into the digital world.
So we don't know what is art, right? Or we know what is the art, but you don't know how to defend that. That part I'm still like trying to figure out. So what is art? I mean, how do you see art? Is it?
I see art as a way to express yourself, your ideas, but also a way to express the world that is around you, right?
Nice.
I guess it's, yeah, you can do art with different aesthetics. The people think that art needs to be beautiful, but that's not the only thing. The only way to make art is more like expressing, and is more related to the intuitive part of the mind, and the senses and the emotions, more than the rational mind,
right? And probably a lot of contradiction that makes art beautiful, isn't it?
A more of contradiction.
Like let's say you at first glance you see a painting, and then that painting might be very simple. Like majority of people look at that painting and see a cup of espresso, right?
Yeah.
But then within that painting you have some hidden messages, or put some hidden realities or another layers of realities within that cup of coffee.
Yeah,
those contradictions make those arts memorable or significant comparing to others.
Yeah, sure. Like contrast into the art. That contrast that maybe make the art more remindable.
Yeah. So who's your favorite artist?
Wow, you asked me a very good question. My favorite artist, I guess, is Dali. Dali. And I really like and I really love the way that he creates some part of his art. That was he went to sleep, and then when he awake in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, uh, a short time after he went to sleep, he became with some ideas, and he started writing those ideas, painting those ideas, creating from this part.
I suspect he went to some deep level of meditation rather than sleep, but people that were around him thought he's sleeping. And he
I
goes
don't know.
into some deeper state of the minds, and then he come up with those crazy.
Maybe. I really like the way that he uses that subconsciousness or meta consciousness to create his art, right? Because the art was more related about how the perfection you can do a hand or a body or the detail of a face or something, talking about the reality. And then the surrealism became to say, okay, we can talk about thoughts more far away from the reality.
And
Yeah.
we go to the next big question that we all have: what's consciousness?
That's a question that you can explain me more. You are more related in that world.
Yeah, I think that's a question that drives me every day. Like that's the big question for me as well. So tomorrow I might have a different answer, but today, I mean, right now, my answer is consciousness, like the reality, as you said, it has different layers, right? So we, each one of us, each one of the units of the universe, from large to small, has their own consciousness. So a cloud has a consciousness. A human has a consciousness. My dog has a consciousness. My cell phone has a consciousness. My table has a consciousness. The ground that I'm walking on has a consciousness. The smallest pebble has a consciousness. And you go deeper, that atom has a consciousness. So I think consciousness is the third aspect of our universe, which we have, like matter, energy, and consciousness. But in each level, the way that the units of that component are interacting with each other are creating a consciousness. So let's say how these atoms or how these electrons are going around the proton in the atom scale, that's a consciousness. Those layers that they rotate around the proton, that's consciousness. And then that consciousness is within every atom, and then go higher and higher. So in every layer, and in me, I have that consciousness. In you have that consciousness. And then above that, in our planet, we have the consciousness. In our nature, we have the consciousness. In our ecosystem, we have consciousness. So there is this universal consciousness on a large scale, and then there is like micro consciousness on every element of that. And our consciousness is somewhere, as humans or as a person, is somewhere among that, which is connected to all the consciousness, the higher ones and the lower ones. I mean, lower in terms of size, not in terms of the value of that consciousness, because the consciousness that is in an atom is as amazing as the consciousness that you see in galaxies. And you can't put a value or a complexity or this is better, or this is higher than the other one. Our consciousness as humans is no different than the consciousness that is in my coffee. They are all.
How do you connect the consciousness of the cell phone, of your cell phone that you said with the artificial intelligence? How do you think that exists some connection? Do you think exists some connection between?
I think there is consciousness and there is intelligence. So these two are different. So intelligence is self-consciousness of a being to its own consciousness. So let's say I'm a human, and I know that I'm conscious, and I know that my environment is conscious, and I know that I am able to understand the environment, perceive the environment, and create something out of that. So that is intelligence. So the cell phone doesn't, or let's not put the cell phone, the atom, it doesn't have the intelligence. The rock, it doesn't have the intelligence. And that's what differentiates us from the other parts. So I would say the parts that are like, I believe the universe has intelligence, and we do have intelligence. Animals have intelligence. So intelligence needs some form of, and my answer tomorrow might be different, because I'm evolving as we all do, but
Sure,
or as some of us do. But as of now, I would say the plants are intelligent, the live beings are intelligent, and on a bigger scale, the ecosystem is intelligent, the nature is intelligent. So they are like higher level of intelligence in the world. And then talking about artificial intelligence that you asked. So artificial intelligence is an augmentation of our intelligence using other
resources
that are out there.
Yeah, other technology.
Yeah. So basically, our desire to make ourselves more intelligent by removing the boundaries in our intelligence that we have through other means that we create and develop, and then try to augment our intelligence to the next level.
Good. Wow. This is something that I just I'm thinking now, like mixing all the topics that we have talked about. And do you think maybe someday the artificial intelligence can do art?
That's a good question.
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, what do you believe?
I think it does. And I think
the artificial intelligence could make art.
Yes. I think we are building machines that are going to be, we are using a very limited amount of the intelligence that we have as humans.
Yeah.
Maybe a regular person uses 1% to maximum 5, maximum 10% of their intelligence. So soon machines will bypass that. And soon machines will be able to self-taught themselves. Like they learn from the environment and they improve themselves. And as that happens, then there is no limitations in the amount of intelligence that they can create. Because, and they would be way more intelligent than us.
Yeah.
And if we bring the element of emotions, which I'm very passionate about, into machines, then they will be emotional, creative, with intelligence, and then they can create art.
So
Because
they need those emotions to create art.
yes, I think they need emotions to create art. They create art that is not necessarily art for us, but it's art from their perspective, because they have a different perception to the environment than ours. So so if you show a painting of Dolly to your dog or your cat, she wouldn't understand what is it, right?
Yeah.
But how come we think that the dogs aren't making art, but probably they do? I'm looking
And
into,
we didn't understand.
Yeah, I'm looking into my dog's behavior, and sometimes like the arrangement of the things, and then like how she sorts of her toys next to each other. That's a form of art, because she create. If we look at it, okay, it's just like random placement of the toys next to each other. Is that the case, or is she making art with whatever she loves? Isn't that art?
Yeah, because it's maybe it's a way of her expression, or of her emotions, and could be a way of ephemeral art, right?
Yeah, but because we don't understand their intelligence, and there is for now no way for us to understand their intelligence, that's why we as humans just compare everything with ourselves, right? We are self-centered. We want to say everything is around me. But
Yeah.
but there are unlimited number of arts that are happening by other creatures or other beings.
What happens if maybe someday the science can, or maybe the artificial intelligence can make something to understand the animals?
Yes,
that should be really cool.
That's cool, and that's I'm sure it's doable. It's doable.
Wow, this is a really good idea. You have to take note of this.
We'll do that later.
Maybe one day we can develop something like that.
Yeah, we can create like AI that understands dogs. I mean, probably understanding dogs barking or behavior wouldn't be that complex, but understanding the way that they think, that would be interesting. Like what, not their expressions, but the thought that is behind those expressions. Like what are they dreaming about? I'm always thinking about like what's my dog is dreaming about when she's sleeping, or what's going on with in their brain. It might be even more amazing than ours, because they have some dimensions that we don't have, or they have some senses,
some layers
that we don't
of
have.
reality.
Exactly. Yeah, and then bring that to the world of augmented reality. Okay, let's go back to the conversation of you. So I know you have a very interesting story going from Colombia to other countries. Just give us a little bit of that background.
Oh, okay. So I born on Bogota, and when I had 9 months, I went to Ecuador, and I live in Ecuador like 10 years. Part of these 10 years was 3 years that I were in Tena. Tena is a little town inside the Amazonas, of the equatorial Amazonas. So I lived 3 years in Ecuador, in Tena, and then I went to I came back to Colombia. I came back to Bogota, and also I went to Duitama, Sogamoso, and other places on the Colombia, and finally I lived 1 year in Brazil. So I guess I'm the citizen of the world. This is a word that is being using maybe wrong, but I can say that I've been lived in different places, and I did some friendships in different cities. So I don't have that like friend that is from my very childhood, that I have from all my life, right? I have like different friends, different people that I know and knew around my life, around my story, my reality. And there are some places that I really love. Basically, Tena is one of those. And
what
also,
is it special about Tena?
Tena, in that time, that was like a really wildest place. So you can share with the nature, you can share with the plants, with the trees, with the everything around you. You know, also a lot of rivers near to that town, and the animals were like too close to you. For example, snakes or spiders. There was one time that I was with my sister and my doggy, and then from the ceiling came a big spider. For me, it was like a really big spider because I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
So
and you show it like this, but
yeah, I was like, oh my god, it was
because in your
really
perception that was big. Now big for you is this.
Yeah, maybe it was like more big that I imagined now.
Right.
But then my sister and me were like really scared, and we saw the spider, and it was like red with a lot of eyes and with a lot of hair, and came like moving his legs, and then my dog barks and jump to that spider, and then he eats the spider.
Wow.
That's the story. So
wow.
My dog was my savior.
Wow.
You know? But that's the level of the close that we had with the animals at that time. So yeah, that's the beautiful part of that place, the nature around you.
What so the culture, the unknown culture from our standpoint, like from people that haven't been to those places, what is significant about it, like both in Colombia, Ecuador, Amazonas?
What's significant about the culture?
Their view towards world. I wouldn't say like going into the cultural part, but they're talking about the language and how language is shaping our mentality.
Yeah.
So I'm Persian, my mentality is different because we write everything from right to left. That's just one single example. And I understand that the way that we think is different. That's how is because of that. I wouldn't call it culture, but I would say that's more into the genetic of that goes deeper than culture. It's like you open your eyes and then you are taught a different mindset through the language.
So, for example, in Tena, there was like an indigenous tribe, and they talk Quechua. That is a indigenous language.
Right.
And I don't know more about Quechua. I didn't speak Quechua. So, but it's a language that really affects the way that the Ecuadorians speak, because there are a lot of words that they subtract from the Quechua. And when I went to Brazil, in Sao Paulo, I perceived that the language was everything. That was my first time like talking another language in a different place, in a place that you never talk that language. And I guess that you know so much better that experience too, with the English, right?
Yeah.
Like the first time talking one different language that is the ones that you have, and how it changed your reality and your mind and your way to see the world.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And in Brazil, the people is really really happy, really
laid back,
really,
and
yeah, really close to you. And I just feel like there was one family, and I left one family there.
That's an interesting concept, because, for example, in a Spanish word or Spanish speaking word, we have almost all the Western Hemisphere, and then Spain on the other hand. But the way that people speak, of course, is different, let's say in Cuba than Dominican Republic, than Colombia, than Ecuador. And I think the cultures are different, or the way that people perceive life is different. How Cubans are perceiving lives is different than Colombians. Even in Colombia, the coastal part, than Medellin,
Bogota,
and Bogota, Cali, and then on the south is different. So there is a close correlation between the language and the overall community on the way that they look at life. That is something that AI might be able to someday figure it out, and then find out new.
Yeah, just thinking in the slangs, you know, the people of the Bogota has some slangs and some words that you say, and the people in the Eje Cafetero, that is from the coffee part of the Colombia, they have a lot of another slangs.
Right.
And when I found with my cousins that are from Armenia, that is some city in the Eje Cafetero. So my cousins say one word, and I say, what? What are you saying? I don't understand. What are you saying? And that happens a lot.
Or maybe Santander, like people in Santander.
Or maybe Santander. Yeah. In Santander, there's a people that everyone thinks that they are angry every time, because they talk like so much strong. Like, yo mano, ¿qué hace?
Yeah. That's something
I don't know. I don't know how to imitate. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I know.
maybe
like
a bad imitation.
A friend of mine and I were in Korea, and then Koreans are like that. They are speaking very like strong. Yeah. And then Chinese, on the other hand, they're very mellow. Like, and then Japanese are some way different. So the taxi driver was saying, we were asking for direction, and then we were kind of like, to his impression, we didn't have the toughness of speaking in Korean. We were like having more into like Chinese type. So he was saying, and he was an older dude, so he was saying, no, you have to say like very directly, like gum like that, like be very strong. So that shows that is kind of like woven into the culture.
I have one question in my mind.
Okay.
It's okay?
Yeah, sure.
This is the time or not? What do you think about the dreams?
The dreams.
Yeah, the dreams.
You tell me your opinion.
Well, I guess there's another world, right? In the dreams happens a lot of strange things. And I can say that I had some predictive dreams in my life. I had some predictive dreams that I dream something one day and the other day it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe it's another world, but also it's to related to the reality, to the consciousness reality.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it disrupt the time too. Maybe the dreams can disrupt the time.
Yeah, I have that issue with time. I know we have like some conversation about, and I said we have like three elements in the word that would be mass, energy, and consciousness, and not time, because I kind of think that we perceive time, but maybe we are in that circle that is rotating, and then it's just like we think that things are moving and things are happening, and then there's like tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. But what if it's like a series of things that are happening, and then once we are sleeping, everything resets, and then another episode starts, and then another one. So we think that time is a linear thing, like it's started like infinite time, I don't know, 5 billion or whatever time ago, and then it started everything, evolution, and then the universe, and then expansion of the universe. So we think that that's like a linear thing that is happening, but I think time is not linear. Like it's not like something.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. I don't think time is linear.
I don't know what is it, but I don't think it's linear like the way we thought.
I guess maybe we are in some part of the time, in some place of the time, and we just can't remember the past. But the future is done, maybe. It's a possibility, it's not a fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you dream, you can maybe remember your future. Or
Mm-hmm.
or when you
Oh, I like that word, remember your future.
Yeah, when you create some ideas, you are also reminding your future or your possible future.
So there are two ways to look at it, or there are like more than two ways. One way is, okay, I'm imagining something, and because that thing is in my subconscious, I would build everything around that so that it happens, right? But then another way to look at it is that basically we are traveling through time during the time that we are asleep. What does it mean? We basically we are removing our consciousness or going to another level of consciousness, I would say. We switch our consciousness from the stage that we are awake and we are perceiving the environment and doing things to another mode that now we just shut off the mind, and then we go into another stage that we can travel to physically to different locations. We can travel through time, and we can see things that not see with like eyes, but perceive things that we wouldn't normally do once we are awake.
Yeah, I'm agree. For example, my father, he was able to get out from from his body when he was like young, and he can travel from the places, from different places. And that was one time that my mother saw him in the night, but he wasn't with my mother. You can go outside your body, right? In a spiritual way, right? And you can do that when you are sleeping,
right?
So my father was able to do it. It was really strange and metaphysical.
Maybe he came out of the Matrix and that happened. That's cool. So then that's not only sleep, but in our sleep we are kind of like, we don't have that control over the flow of the consciousness, but in our meditation we do. Like we can have that connection with the universe and move to different locations. I mean, there is this famous program by CIA in 60s or before, during the Cold War, that they had these people that used to go to Soviet Union and see locations and then bring reports from those locations, and it's proven. So
wow,
yeah, that's a very interesting program. And then they shut it off fairly recently because that was super secret, and one of the presidents spilled the jam, so they had to shut it down. If a secret program is revealed to the public, then they can't continue that, basically, or they rebrand it and do another name with that, but then it's again secret and you don't know about it. So they do that, but that's for traveling through, like from their offices in DC to locations in Soviet Union, just through the power of the brain, going there, visiting, and then they were doing drawings of what they see. So they were just giving them the GPS location, and they were traveling through those locations, just sitting in the office, and then brought like, okay, this is the drawing of the place. And then very interestingly, if you compare those, it exactly matches the reality. Wow. And of course, there are people that are naysayers, but who cares? I mean, there are people that their logic, or what they call logic, they want to make that so powerful to shut off the other parts of the brain, but hopefully we are not among them. So
yeah.
Fingers crossed, never happens to us.
The dreams is another word. It's another word. It's another reality, or maybe it's part of this reality that we don't perceive.
Yeah, in Matrix they say, okay, what if you have the dream and then you wake up from that dream, but you think you woke up from that dream? What if this part that you think you woke up is actually the continuation of that dream?
Yeah. Wow.
So you think you pinch yourself and you think, no, I'm not sleeping, but that's just
I had a lot of experiences with dreams. There's another thing that is consciousness dreams, that you can be consciousness inside your dreams.
Okay.
So my first time doing that was when I was really kid, really childhood. And I was dreaming into a zone, into a restaurant that had one lake in the middle of the restaurant. And in the middle of the lake were crocodiles. And I was in the ceiling of the restaurant, and I was seeing to the lake, and I needed to go down to find my family, but I can't go down because there was the lake, the crocodiles, and etc. So I awake in that moment. I awake, and I was consciousness about that I was dreaming. So I said, "Oh, okay, this is a dream. Okay, I will jump." So I went back to the dream. I sleep. It was like in the middle of the night, you know. It wasn't like in the morning. It was really in the middle of the night. So I slept really. I slept really easy, and I was back. I were back again in the ceiling. So I jumped to the lake. I passed through the crocodiles, and I find my family. But that part was consciousness. That final part was consciousness. And that was my first time like being consciousness inside the dream. And it's really cool. It's really cool. You can do almost anything that you think about.
So let's say you are meditating, you bring yourself into your subconscious level, kind of like the same as your dreams, and then during that time, which you are floating like in everywhere in your between the reality and the other realities, right? In one of the universes, then you consciously decide on what would be your path, taking the red pill or blue pill, right? Talking about Matrix, would you take the blue pill or red pill?
I don't remember which one is which one.
So red pill is the one that you know that there is a painful experience, like real painful, because the real reality is not what we see this beautiful world, but something that is way deeper and way probably darker than this. And you intentionally take that pill to see that, but there's no way to come back. And then blue pill would be continue living in this beautiful planet with all these beautiful people and beautiful experiences, like the life that we do.
I guess almost the 90% of the people should take would take the red one, I guess.
Say it again.
I guess the 90% of the people would take the red one, because that's the magic of the story, right? Going to the real reality. But for me, it's like, why don't this reality is the real reality? So maybe I would take the red one, because always I can come again to this place.
No, if you take the red, you cannot come back to this universe.
I cannot come back.
No.
Okay, wow.
So you're going to be in the real world.
I don't believe a lot in the things that the people told me, right? So if someone told me that this is red and this is blue and you will do this, I will say like, I don't believe you.
Okay.
You know, because who told me that that's the real reality and not is this one, right? Maybe I can go and explore, but who told me that? Who certified me that that's the real reality?
Yeah. So you question taking the pill rather than taking the
I will always be questioning.
Okay, but assume that like this is the fact. Like I know
fact.
there is not any fact in the world, like the real fact, and everything is kind of like relative to the eyes of beholder. But
no, of course, I will always want it to be in the real reality more than the fictional one. So if I have to decide, I will take the red one.
Red one.
Yeah. How about you?
I think I would take the blue pill.
Why?
Because
Wow.
because this is a good enough dream to have. And
that's cool. That's cool, man.
It's a stage that I for a while I thought I would take the red pill, but what I would say, the other word can, I mean, this is beautiful enough. So
Yeah, this is
I'm gonna
beautiful.
I'm gonna
That's
take care
cool.
of
That's cool.
this one for now.
I want to say something about the time before you go to that.
Okay.
Is think about the people with Alzheimer, right? They doesn't have the capacity or the ability to remind some parts of the past, just some moments, but not the complete past, right? It's the same as a blind person can't see the colors, the light, etc. Right? So what if we don't have this ability or capacity to remind our future? And it's just like that capacity. It's just like that part of the brain that you are not able to access to remind that future.
Awesome.
As the same, as the same, the person with Alzheimer is not able to access to that part to remind the past.
Yeah, basically we are seeing the future, but we don't remember that.
Is a probability.
We have the future inside us.
Maybe.
So kind of like, okay, so let's say this is like a movie, like the old movies, and then there is a rolling window, like a box that is moving among that. And then the whole movie doesn't have a time because it's a movie. Which part of it you go, you can go and see that part. But we just with our limited, so with our superficial consciousness, we are just seeing the past part and the present part, but the future part, which already happened, happened.
Now, no, finish your idea because I want to complement.
Okay,
you can finish your idea.
Oh, no. So the future part is already happened and it's exist in this movie. But with our superficial consciousness, we cannot see it unless we see some snapshot of it is in our dreams, or with deep level of meditation or other experiences out of this real world experiences, we see some parts of that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Miguel. We are running out of the time, but not because of running really out of the time, because time is is that perception in our mind. So yeah, I have to jump on another call, and then thanks so much for making this happen. Hopefully we have more and more talks in future.
Thanks to you, Nima.
Thanks, Miguel. See you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.